Well, I'm not a very good public speaker at all, and I've never done it except behind a beauty shop chair, so I'm going to try to make it through this. I guess I should start off with my life, I guess, as a child, so you all know where I came from or whatever. My mother left at 6 weeks old, so my dad raised us, and he kept us in church. So, I had the basics of what I need to know, except he kept us in church, but he beat us, abused us in every kind of way, but he still took us to church. So it was really hard to accept church whenever, that's what you lived through on a daily basis. Anyways, he would drag us around the world. We'd get shocked everywhere. We lived in children's homes, soup kitchens. He gave us to people, whatever. And when he couldn't do it anymore, he'd take us to our grandma. And then when he didn't like us being with our grandma, he'd take us around the world again. So anyways, the childhood was pretty rocky. And I ended up, having children young, being a single parent, really not knowing how to be a parent. So I didn't do it very good. Anyway, so after my grandmother passed away, I started doing drugs. And I did a lot of drugs for a long time. Anyways, so I did drugs and sold drugs, and, I still was pretty much a functioning addict because I raised my children and I ran a beauty shop and,
I'm sorry.
anyways, so I did that for like 12 years. Raised them, and I always protected them or whatever, but they still had to see a life that they shouldn't have had to see. And by the time that I decided to give up doing drugs, they were all doing drugs. And I finally got clean and was doing the right thing, and situations went on, and I ended up going to prison over something that I didn't even do. And I was in Wood County Jail, and that's where I really found God. And they say that, like everybody else says in their testimony, you don't go to jail, people go to jail and they get jail, religion, but they really don't. They go to jail, and that's where God sits you down and makes you listen, because you ain't gonna listen out here. And so I was in Wood County for like 5 months and thought it was horrible. I cried all day, and I was really in trouble in Oklahoma, so they came to take me to Oklahoma. And then they set me in a place that was really unfit for people. It was nothing like Wood County. Wood County was amazing, really. They set me in a little cell that you didn't get out of for 5 months, and you didn't have a table, and you didn't have a chair, and they didn't wash your blankets, or, you didn't have no TV. All you had was a shower and a bed, and a shower and a toilet, and I couldn't even walk by the time they took me to prison, because you didn't get to walk around. There was nothing. You didn't get out of the cell, and they gave you a lot of food. So, your feet hurt, and you got really fat. Anyways, so I sat there, and, in that one little cell, there was 4 beds and 6 girls. So 2 of them slept on the floor in the little walk-in space that, that shouldn't even be how it is. But there was some church ladies that came in there, and I found myself, they would say one thing and I'd finish their whole sermon, because in Wood County I got like so strong with my faith that, anyway, so I'd tell the rest of the, I'd do the rest of the preaching, I guess. And there was this little hole in the wall in that little cell, and there was guys, prisoners on the other side that came from a prison. So the things that I seen in that cell, because them girls, they just wanted a connection with a guy. So, it was crazy. And all the girls didn't like me, and the guys didn't like me, because I wasn't fixing to get in front of that little crack, I just read my Bible, and, and they would fight, and they would do whatever, because there was no cameras, so you just had to deal with it. And my deal was I just cried all the time, because my kids were out here by themselves. And anyway, so there was a cell down the hall where you could just hear girls getting beat up, like you could hear them down, just getting the crap beat out of them, and nobody cared, because they didn't care. There was no cameras, and you could just do whatever. And they didn't allow the church ladies to come there into that cell. And one day they came and knocked on our door, opened our door, and said, we need a volunteer to go down there. And so I raised my hand, and then I was thinking, like, what am I thinking? I raised my hand, and I'm not a fighter, so they said, well, you can't go because you're one of the girls on the bunk, so you can't go. So they shut the door, and I remember yanking my stuff off the bunk and putting this other girl's stuff on the bunk, and got hauled down to the other cell. And so I got down there, and it was like a whole lot worse than I thought that it would be. These two girls, you know, they were like trying to run everything, and they did. They ran everything. There was like 8 girls in there, and they would like control everything and take everybody's clothes and take all their stuff. And I guess maybe they seen that I was a little stronger than most of the people that came in there, willpowered, so they wanted me to like bully everybody around with them. And you know, I couldn't do it. And I was like, no. And so the more it went on, the more they just wanted to beat me up. So finally they got to the point, like, because they would do this devil worship and stuff. And I would just get the girls that were scared, and we would just pray together. And in this jail, there was no lights. When the lights went out, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And so they had lighters, they had drugs in there, they had everything. Because in their little cell, they had a hole in the wall too, which went to the trustees' tank. So they got everything into our little room. And anyway, so I would just pray with these girls, and they would do this devil worship and stuff. And there came a time where, like, it got real bad in there. It was like the really evil spirit, and they were doing their devil worship and stuff, and I'm praying with these girls that are crying, and in this black room, like, it was black, these red eyes from like across the room just started coming towards me, and this is what made it really, really real to me. That anyways, I remember going to church when I was young, and my dad would always tell us, you know, even though he was who he was, he'd always teach us to pray and to have faith and to do all the things we did. So when those red eyes were coming at us, and they wasn't a person's eyes, they were floating in the air, and I had to say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus like 5 times, and they vanished. Well, after that, them girls really hated me. So I remember they jumped me in the cell, and I don't even remember the fight. I just remember when the fight was over, I didn't hurt anywhere, didn't have no marks, but my hands were black and blue so bad that I couldn't climb on my bunk. And after that, they didn't like me, but after that, I put my foot down, and I said, and the church ladies will be coming in here now. And so the church ladies got to come in there, and the church ladies told me, we prayed for you to be here. And I'm like, thanks a lot, you know. Like, anyway, so they prayed for me to be in there, and those 2 girls ended up getting saved. And when it was time for me to go to prayer, or actually, it was so bad there that when I went to court, they were going to send me to something that wasn't even a jail. I said, no, sir, you're not. Because these girls say, if I don't make it through that, and people don't, they got to come back here. I said, I ain't coming back here, send me to prison. And so he said, I think you're in denial. There you go, there it is, 3 years. So the day that they were sending me to prison, the 2 girls got to go with me. Those 2 girls, only 3 of us in the van. And we pulled up at the prison, and the man told us, he was like, suck up your tears, girl, y'all are at the big house now. And it was terrible, it was horrifying. It was the biggest jail I've ever seen. And you know, they give you high water pants and give you this big old mat, and you're walking down this big old aisle, and there's people are looking at you, and you think that you just got sent to, I didn't even know where, because I was in Oklahoma, and if their county jails, or their prison was as bad as their county jails, I definitely didn't want to be there. But the girls are like, hey, will you be our roommate in here? I'm like, no, y'all might have got saved, but no, I don't want to have nothing to do with y'all. Like, put me in prison somewhere far away. Anyways, so I went to prison, and I kept my faith, and I seen a lot of crazy stuff, and I finally got out. But in the midst of being there, the whole time I was locked up, I knew I lost everything I'd worked for, and I knew I was going to get out, and I didn't know what I was going to do and where I was going to go and how I was going to even start over. And so I got to this lower security prison, and there was like 200 girls, I guess, in there, and they only let 5 people get a job for money, and they let me be one of them. And so I got 1 job, and then I was like, can I get 2 jobs? And they're like, I don't think you can handle 2 jobs. And it was into the city, you got to go get a job. And so anyways, I ended up getting 2 jobs. And I tried to get an interstate pack where I could parole out to Texas, and they said no. They denied me. And so so they said, well, only way you're going to get out of here is get on the leg monitor and get an apartment. And I'm like, I didn't know nobody, couldn't do hair because I didn't have a license in Oklahoma. So I got a job at this little convenience store, and then I begged this lady that I met there. I'm like, hey, can I get a job at your place too? She was like, well, I don't need you. I'm like, well, I mean, she had this company that I know nothing about, but I was like, come on, just give me a job. So she said no, and she called the prison like a week later and told them that she needed me.